Hey everybody, in this video we're going to learn how to show that two angles are congruent. So we have our same parallelogram here, and it says the angle NOQ, the angle formed by NO and Q, is congruent to angle PQO. In that order, has to be in that order. So I'll show you the first way that we're going to demonstrate this. Make sure my transparency is there. Okay, good. NOQ. This angle, drawing a little arc in there, is congruent to that angle. That is the first way that we're going to learn how to do this. So this angle is congruent to that angle. PQO and OQ. We also have that angle OPQ is congruent to angle QNO. QNO, OPQ. Just like the other two ways of showing, we can do a double, and if you had three sets of angles congruent, then you would show three arcs. This is the way of showing that we have multiple sets of parallel or congruent angles. So that's one way. Another way is to use the different colors like we talked about in the last video. So I can show you that. So still just using one arc, but using a different color. The arc tells us that they're congruent. What color or how many arcs there are tells them, okay, these two are congruent, these two are congruent, not to be confused. That's the second way. A third way to show this would be to use our highlighter function here. So turn our transparency down, maybe, there it is, and the stroke thickness up. Okay, so I want to show, I'm going to keep it the same color for these two angles here. This angle is congruent to this angle. So we can see here that, and you can even back this up just a little bit so that it's not the whole thing, that this angle is congruent to this angle. That's another way to show it, and then you would use a different color for the other ones. So this one is congruent to this one. Okay, so those are the three different ways to show that. The way to write it is by doing this. Angle NOQ is congruent to angle PQO. And it would be the same thing for the other. Angle NOQ is congruent to angle PQO. It's a sentence. You read it directly left to right, and it's the same thing as written language. So those are three ways to show, and the ways to write the two angles are congruent.